Hello and welcome to Racers Now. It's Breeders' Cup week and there are loads of British and Irish trained horses heading over to California as we speak for this weekend, the 1st and 2nd of November at Del Mar in California. But let's be honest, there's only one horse to talk about really, and that is City of Troy, the headline grabber, the horse of the year on this side of the pond, the Derby winner, the Eclipse winner, the Juddmonte International winner, apparently the best horse that Aidan O'Brien has ever trained. Well, he's going for the classic 10 furlongs on the dirt. And there's an added bonus for UK flat racing fans this year as the classic itself takes place at 9:41 p.m. UK time, so you don't have to stay up beyond midnight as we usually do. So will City of Troy win? Well, he's got a good as chance as any according to the bookmakers. He's 7-4, currently the favourite. Anti-post, this is before the draw comes out on Monday night, late Monday night. I'll be in bed, but the draw is all important at Del Mar. It's one of the tightest tracks in the whole world, really, for graded racers, although the dirt track isn't quite as tight as the turf track. So we'll be waiting for the draw before talking about any turf races. But back to City of Troy and the Breeders' Cup Classic. He is bred for the job, more so than any other Coolmore contender before, you could well say, by Justify, an American Triple Crown winner in his own right. And his racing style, City of Troy's racing style, that is more American than I've ever seen, really, from a horse over on these shores. I mean, just look at the Juddmonte International at York in August, out of the blocks quickly, to the front, strong pace throughout. No one could stay with City of Troy as he was at the front, kept on galloping and stretched clear in the final furlong. A track record that day, although take that with a pinch of salt, as he ran over a shorter distance to produce that so-called track record, lowering the track record, apparently, of See the Stars from a few years ago. So a pinch of salt on that one, but it was very quick, it was very impressive, and it was very American-like in that style. So, City of Troy, breeding, tick, racing style, tick, opposition or possible lack thereof, tick. Speaking to one of my friends who follows the American form, apparently it's not necessarily a vintage year for those American-based Breeders' Cup contenders. So this could be a year that O'Brien and Coolmore finally achieve one of the very few things they haven't achieved in worldwide horse racing, and that is to win the Breeders' Cup. Over a 24-year period, O'Brien and the Coolmore boys have had 17 tries at the Breeders' Cup Classic, second on 2 occasions, with Giants Causeway and Henry the Navigator coming closest to winning the big one. It's clearly been on their mind for a very long time. They mentioned it when City of Troy was still a 2-year-old. So, yes, a long-held ambition of the Coolmore clan to go over and win a Breeders' Cup Classic, and what an achievement it would be with a horse certainly bred for the job. So, I mean, I'm not, necessarily into the dirt racing, arm's length to me, but I would have liked to have seen City of Troy trying dirt before now. It's such a unique surface with the kickback and the early pace, etc. And trying it for the first time in the Breeders' Cup Classic, the biggest day of all, it doesn't quite sound like, to me, like the no stone unturned approach that Aidan O'Brien has been talking about. He said he left a couple of stones unturned going into the Guineas, in terms of City of Troy's going into the stalls and doing some extra training on that. So if they are taking this no stone unturned approach, surely they will have been better to try on the dirt before trying the dirt for the first time in the Breeders' Cup Classic. That's all I'm thinking. But look, who am I to argue with the one that they call the Master of Ballydoyle? But as early as April this year, Aidan was talking about doing the Guineas at Newmarket, the Derby at Epsom, and then the Saratoga Derby, then on to Del Mar for the Breeders' Cup Classic. Now, the Saratoga leg of that plan was replaced by the Eclipse and the Juddmonte, possibly after the flop in the Guineas. But he was very impressive in the Derby. Let's have it right. I doubted him that day. He was impressive. They could have still gone to Saratoga after Epsom. They did not. They went quite on the Saratoga idea. But look, he's gone on and won the Eclipse and Juddmonte in decent enough fashion. The Juddmonte more so. He's won both of them. Fair play. But purely from a viewpoint of giving yourself the best chance to win the Classic, surely you'd have been better off having a spin on the dirt beforehand. That's all I'm saying. Now, they did have what looked like a proper practice run at Southall in August. But let's be honest, the 2024 surface at Southall is very different to the year 2000 surface that Giants Causeway worked on ahead of his Breeders' Cup Classic. Tilt to Peter in 2024 is more like turf than dirt, and the fibre sand, much more similar to dirt, is long gone. That's the fibre sand that Giants Causeway trained on. They say that is pretty similar to dirt, or as similar as you are going to get. And that's long gone at Southall. They have replaced the surface there a few years ago over to Peter. But to be fair, he's had an away day. There was a bit of a crowd in. They had the American stores over there at Southall. He worked with 4 workhorses that went like the clappers early doors. So they've gone as close as they can to replicating what they might get and what they will get at Del Mar this weekend. But I would have just wanted to have seen him. If it is the be-all and end-all, if it is the big dream to win the Breeders' Cup Classic, surely they would have had a go on dirt before now. That's all I'm saying. They did it with Mendelssohn a couple of years ago. By no means a great from Coolmore, but he was there. You know, he was that year they was trying him. They was doing it differently. They had their Breeders' Cup horse. They was doing it differently. I think he ran in the UAE Derby, Mendelssohn, etc. Anyway, Mendelssohn and City of Troy aren't going to be mentioned in the same breath many a time in this this world of talking horses. But yeah, he's been to Southall. He's had a practice run. So the question is, and none of us know the answer, will City of Troy take to the dirt? Well, none of us really know. Some say yes, some say no. I've really got no idea until we see it happen on Saturday. I've already doubted the lad of City of Troy before. I said he had no chance. As well, I said he was a ridiculous price for the Epsom Derby, given what we saw at Newmarket. I was proven completely wrong there. He whizzed in the Derby in very impressive fashion. So, yeah, something to keep an eye on this weekend. Must be mentioned that Coolmore actually own 2 or part own 3 of the top 4 in the betting. So 3 of the top 4 in the betting, including City of Troy, are owned or part owned by Coolmore. City of Troy, of course. Sierra Leone is a 12-1 shot and was a no second in the Kentucky Derby earlier this year in May in the same colours as City of Troy. And last weekend, it was announced that Coolmore now have a 50% share in second favourite and recent Travers Stakes winner, Fierceness. Not a bad position for a ownership team to be in with a 14-runner field for a £2.8 million race. Covering their bets, or is it just straight up commercialism? Well, we'll find out on Saturday. Draw dependent, of course, but the last 2 classics ran at Del Mar, it should be mentioned, were won by horses that pretty much led all the way round. Is that something that City of Troy might do? Draw depending, of course. That happens on Monday night, so maybe I'll update in the description the draw for City of Troy on Tuesday morning. But let's be honest, it would be fantastic to see City of Troy win the big one, the Breeders' Cup, the Breeders' Cup Classic. Buckle in, it's going to be fun. They're going to give it everything they've got. They've said all along that this is the best they've ever had. Do we believe them? Well, we're going to find out on Saturday. Plenty of other European horses running over in California this week. They're going to be previewed on a separate video. The juvenile races take place on Friday. The main races, the all-age races, if you like, take place on Saturday. And as always, SD will be back on Thursday as we look forward to the jump season, which is now really flowing with Weatherby and the Charlie Hall Chase. Thanks for tuning in.